Stop waiting for a breakthrough. You are not stuck. You are unstructured. You are not unlucky. You are undisciplined. The difference between where you stand and where you want to be is not talent, it is strategy. And today, you stop living like a victim of circumstance and start rebuilding yourself like a ruthless strategist. A strategist does not complain about the battlefield. He studies it. He does not curse the storm. He calculates the wind. If your life feels chaotic, it is because you have been reacting instead of directing. Reaction is weakness. Direction is power. The first step in rebuilding yourself is brutal honesty. No excuses, no emotional speeches. Look at your habits, look at your routines, look at how you spend your time when no one is watching. That is your true strategy. If your results are weak, your strategy is broken. And broken systems must be rebuilt without sentiment. You must develop definiteness of purpose so sharp that distractions feel like insults. A strategist does not wake up guessing, he wakes up executing. Every day must have a mission. Every hour must serve that mission. If it does not, eliminate it. Ruthless does not mean cruel to others, it means merciless toward your own laziness. Control your mind before you attempt to control outcomes. Fear is natural, but obedience to fear is a choice. Doubt will knock, but you decide whether it enters. Emotional mastery is the foundation of strategic power. If your emotions dictate your moves, you are not leading your life. You are surrendering it. Rebuilding yourself requires calculated destruction. Destroy the habits that weaken you. Destroy the relationships that drain you. Destroy the identity that keeps you small. You cannot build a powerful future on a fragile foundation. Tear it down. Start again. Stronger, smarter, sharper. Indecision is the silent assassin of greatness. A ruthless strategist decides quickly and adjusts intelligently. Waiting for perfect conditions is cowardice disguised as patience. Move, act, learn, refine. Momentum creates clarity. Stagnation creates fear. You must become comfortable with pressure. Pressure is not your enemy, it is your forge. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Steel is strengthened by fire. If you collapse under discomfort, you are never committed to growth. When life tests you, respond with strategy, not emotion. Persistence is not stubbornness. It is intelligent endurance. A strategist does not repeat failed tactics blindly. He studies failure, extracts the lesson, and returns stronger. Every setback contains data. Every loss hides instruction. Extract it, adapt, advance. Calculated risk separates leaders from spectators. Playing safe guarantees average, but reckless action without thought guarantees destruction. Study before you strike. Prepare before you leap, then commit fully. Half-hearted effort is self-sabotage. Your daily habits are your silent generals. Win the morning and you control the day. Win the day and you control the week. Stack disciplined actions until they become automatic. When discipline becomes identity, success becomes predictable. Stop seeking motivation. Motivation is emotional and temporary. Strategy is logical and permanent. Motivation fades when discomfort arrives. Strategy remains when emotion disappears. If you rely on how you feel, you will quit. If you rely on structure, you will rise. Vision is your internal compass. See yourself not as you are, but as you are becoming. Act from that identity now. Speak from that identity now. Decide from that identity now. The strategist you want to be must begin operating today, not someday. Silence your need for validation. A strategist moves quietly. He does not announce every plan. He does not broadcast every ambition. He works in silence and lets results speak with authority. Noise is for the insecure. Focus is for the powerful. Rebuilding yourself is not comfortable. It will isolate you. It will test you. It will expose. Say your weakness is good. That exposure is necessary. Weakness acknowledged becomes strength developed. Weakness ignored becomes destiny accepted. You are not here to drift. You are here to design. You are not here to wish. You are here to execute. Life rewards clarity, discipline, and boldness. It punishes hesitation and excuse-making. So stand up mentally, draw your line, define your objective, audit your habits, cut what weakens you, build what strengthens you, decide quickly, persist intelligently, move strategically, rebuild yourself with precision, rebuild yourself with discipline, rebuild yourself with fire in your mind and ice in your veins, because the moment you begin thinking like a ruthless strategist, you stop being controlled by circumstances. And you start controlling outcomes. And when you control your outcomes, you control your destiny. Definiteness of purpose is where power begins. It is the dividing line between those who drift through life and those who command it. The moment you decide exactly what you want, with no hesitation and no apology, you separate yourself from the crowd. Most people wake up reacting. The focused individual wakes up directing. There is no strength without direction. There is no dominance without clarity. If your purpose is weak, your discipline will collapse under pressure. If your purpose is sharp, your actions will align with ruthless precision. You cannot conquer anything if you have not first defined it. A vague desire produces vague results. Saying you want success means nothing. Saying you want to become financially independent within 5 years by mastering a specific skill and building a specific system, that is purpose. Purpose is specific. Purpose is measurable. Purpose carries weight. When you define it clearly, your mind begins organizing itself around it. Your attention filters distractions automatically. Your time rearranges itself around priority. Energy follows direction. Without direction, energy leaks into meaningless activities, empty conversations, and weak habits. Definiteness of purpose demands that you choose, and choosing means eliminating alternatives. That is why most people avoid it. To choose one path is to close the door on others, but power requires commitment. A strategist does not chase 10 targets at once. He locks onto one objective and moves every resource toward it. When your purpose is definite, you stop negotiating with excuses. You stop explaining your ambition to those who do not understand it. You stop adjusting your standards to make others comfortable. Clarity creates internal authority. The moment you know exactly where you are going, doubt begins to lose its voice. Fear may still appear, but it cannot dominate. You are not wandering anymore. You are advancing. Indecision drains strength. Decision concentrates it. A definite purpose gives your life structure. It becomes the central pillar around which your habits, relationships, and daily actions are built. Without it, you are building on sand. Every powerful achievement in history began as a clearly defined intention. Not a wish, not a hope. An intention backed by commitment. The individual who wins in any field is the one who has decided long before the reward appears. When the world tests him, he does not retreat because his direction was never temporary. It was chosen. It was declared internally. It was fixed. Your purpose must be so clear that it influences your behavior in private. It must be strong enough to guide your actions when no one is watching. Anyone can act ambitious in public. True definiteness of purpose reveals itself in solitude. It shows in how you spend your early mornings. It shows in how you respond to fatigue. It shows in what you tolerate and what you refuse. If your standards shift depending on your mood, your purpose is not yet definite. To build this level of clarity, you must think deeply. You must analyze what you truly want, not what society expects, not what looks impressive, not what others approve of. Ruthless self-honesty is required. Strip away ego, strip away fear. Ask yourself what outcome would make the struggle worthwhile. Once you identify it, carve it into your mind, repeat it, visualize it, write it, study it. Refine it until it becomes undeniable. A definite purpose acts like a magnet. It attracts opportunity because it sharpens perception. You begin noticing connections, patterns, and resources that were invisible before. The world does not change. Your focus does, and focus is power. When your attention is disciplined, your progress accelerates. You waste less time. You make stronger decisions. You recover faster from mistakes because your direction remains intact. Obstacles become strategic challenges instead of emotional threats. When your purpose is uncertain, every setback feels like a reason to quit. When your purpose is fixed, setbacks become data. You analyze them, adjust, and continue. The objective remains untouched. That is strength, that is control, that is leadership over your own life. Definiteness of purpose also builds resilience. When you know exactly what you are building, temporary discomfort loses its influence. You understand that sacrifice is part of the design. You stop complaining about the cost because you are committed to the outcome. Clarity transforms pain into investment. It transforms delay into preparation. It transforms pressure into refinement. You must guard your purpose aggressively. Protect it from negative voices. Protect it from your own moments of weakness. Revisit it daily. Strengthen it through repetition and action. The more you act in alignment with it, the more powerful it becomes. Confidence grows not from positive thinking alone, but from consistent movement toward a defined objective. If you want authority over your future, start with authority over your aim. Define it, refine it, commit to it. Let it dominate your thoughts and structure your days. Let it become the standard by which you measure decisions. Let it push you when comfort tempts you. Let it anchor you when uncertainty appears. When your purpose is definite, your path becomes powerful, your actions become disciplined, and your identity transforms into that of someone who does not drift, does not hesitate, and does not surrender to confusion. Master your emotions, or they will master you. That is the law. Every failure of discipline, every broken promise, every abandoned dream can be traced back to a moment when emotion overpowered reason. Anger spoke louder than logic, fear silenced courage, doubt replaced conviction. If you cannot command your internal world, you will never dominate your external one. Power begins within. Control begins within. Victory begins within. Emotion is not weakness, but unmanaged emotion is destruction. The same fire that fuels ambition can burn down progress if left unchecked. The same sensitivity that sharpens intuition can magnify insecurity if undisciplined. A strategist does not suppress emotion. He studies it. He observes it. He refuses to let it dictate his decisions. He understands that feelings are signals, not commands. When fear appears, most people retreat. The emotionally mastered individual leans forward. Fear is information. It reveals growth edges. It exposes attachments. It tests belief. If you allow fear to control your action, you shrink. If you confront it with reason and preparation, you expand. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the refusal to obey it. Anger is another force that demands control. Unchecked anger clouds judgment and fractures relationships. Controlled anger becomes focused intensity. It becomes fuel for disciplined action. Instead of reacting impulsively, the emotionally strong individual pauses. He breathes. He evaluates. He chooses response over reaction. That pause is power. In that space between stimulus and response lies leadership. Doubt is perhaps the most subtle. Enemy. It whispers quietly. It questions your ability. It magnifies your past mistakes. If you are not mentally prepared, doubt becomes paralysis. Mastery over emotion means recognizing doubt without accepting it as truth. It means replacing emotional assumption with logical assessment. What are the facts? What can be improved? What action can be taken now? These questions silence unnecessary fear. Emotional mastery requires daily discipline. It is not achieved in a single breakthrough moment. It is built through awareness. You must monitor your thoughts the way a commander monitors a battlefield. Notice patterns, identify triggers, study the situations that weaken your composure. Awareness creates separation. Separation creates control. Your environment influences your emotional state. The conversations you engage in, the media you consume, the people you surround yourself with, all shape your internal reactions. A strategist curates his environment carefully. He does not expose himself to constant negativity and expect inner peace. He does not entertain chaos and expect clarity. Emotional mastery demands selective exposure. There will be moments when pressure intensifies, deadlines close in, criticism surfaces, results delay. In these moments, your emotional stability is tested. If you panic, you lose perspective. If you remain composed, you maintain strategic advantage. Calmness under pressure is not natural, it is trained. It is developed by repeatedly choosing logic over impulse. Gratification control is another pillar of emotional strength. The desire for immediate pleasure often destroys long-term success. Comfort tempts you to quit early. Distraction seduces you away from focus. Mastery means delaying gratification in service of a greater objective. It means enduring temporary discomfort for permanent gain. Emotional weakness seeks relief. Emotional strength seeks results. Do not confuse emotional expression with emotional control. Expressing frustration is not the same as resolving it. Venting anger is not the same as mastering it. True control is internal. It is silent. It is the ability to maintain direction regardless of mood. When your actions remain aligned with your purpose even on difficult days, you demonstrate mastery. Confidence is rooted in emotional stability. If your confidence rises and falls with external approval, it is fragile. If it depends on constant success, it is temporary. Real confidence comes from knowing you can regulate yourself. You trust your response. You trust your judgment. Follow. Everything begins inside. The battlefield of success is first fought in the mind. Conquer your reactions, discipline your impulses, strengthen your awareness. Choose response over reaction repeatedly until it becomes identity. When emotion no longer dictates your direction, you move with clarity, authority, and unshakable control over your path and your progress. Decide fast, move immediately, adjust intelligently. That is how power operates. Indecision is a silent destroyer of opportunity. While you hesitate, time advances. While you overanalyze, someone else executes. The world does not reward contemplation alone. It rewards committed movement. Thought without action is illusion. Intention without execution is weakness. Every great transformation begins the moment a decision becomes final. Not emotional, not temporary, final. When you decide with certainty, something shifts internally. Energy aligns, focus sharpens, distractions lose influence. A definite decision activates momentum. It forces your mind to search for solutions instead of excuses. It commands your body to move instead of delay. Most people confuse thinking with progress. They research endlessly. They plan excessively. They wait for perfect clarity. But clarity is born from action, not from endless reflection. You learn more in one bold step than in 1,000 cautious thoughts. Movement exposes flaws quickly. It reveals strengths clearly. It creates feedback you cannot access while standing still. Fear often disguises itself as preparation. You tell yourself you need more time, more knowledge, more certainty. In truth, you are avoiding risk. Decisive individuals understand that uncertainty is part of growth. They accept incomplete information and still move forward. They trust their ability to adapt. They know that waiting for perfection guarantees stagnation. A strategist does not act recklessly, but he does act quickly once analysis is sufficient. He gathers the necessary facts, evaluates the risks, and then commits. Commitment eliminates mental friction. Once the decision is made, energy previously wasted on doubt becomes fuel for execution. Your mind stops arguing with itself and starts solving problems. Speed creates advantage. In business, in leadership, in personal growth, the one who moves first often controls the narrative. Delay allows competition to strengthen. Delay allows opportunity to fade. Delay weakens confidence. Every time you postpone a necessary decision, you train yourself to hesitate again. Every time you act boldly, you strengthen your identity as someone who executes. Decisive action builds self-trust. When you repeatedly follow through on your choices, you prove to yourself that your word has weight. This internal credibility is priceless. Without it, confidence collapses. With it, you operate with authority. You no longer question every move. You choose, act, evaluate, refine. Mistakes will occur. They are inevitable. But mistakes made through action are lessons. Mistakes made through hesitation are regrets. Regret carries heavier consequences because it offers no growth. You cannot correct what you never attempted. Action, even flawed action, provides data. Data refines strategy. Strategy improves results. Momentum is a powerful force. Once you begin moving decisively, each completed action fuels the next. Progress compounds. Small wins accumulate into larger victories. The hardest step is the first. After that, movement becomes natural. Stagnation feels uncomfortable. Execution becomes your default state. Discipline strengthens decisiveness. When your habits are structured, decision-making becomes faster. You eliminate trivial choices. You reduce mental clutter. You reserve your energy for high-impact moves. Successful individuals simplify their environment to accelerate action. They do not waste willpower on minor distractions. Your environment also influences your speed. Surround yourself with decisive indivi. Duels, and you will feel compelled to elevate your pace. Remain among chronic procrastinators, and hesitation will normalize. Standard spread, energy spreads. Choose wisely. Decisive action also requires emotional control. Panic leads to reckless decisions. Fear leads to paralysis. Mastery lies in calm commitment. Evaluate clearly, then move firmly. Once in motion, avoid constant second-guessing. Overcorrection disrupts momentum. Trust your preparation and allow results to unfold before adjusting. Opportunity often appears disguised as discomfort. The job application that intimidates you, the conversation you avoid, the investment that challenges your comfort zone. The decisive individual recognizes these moments as turning points. He does not retreat. He advances. Growth rarely feels safe. You must also learn to end what no longer serves your purpose. Decisiveness is not only about starting, it is about stopping. End weak habits, end draining commitments, end relationships that dilute focus. Clarity demands elimination. Every strong yes requires multiple strong no's. Procrastination erodes ambition. Each delayed action chips away at belief. Eventually, you begin doubting your own capability. The cure is immediate movement. Take one step, make one call, send one proposal, begin one session. Action restores belief faster than motivation ever could. There will never be a perfect time. Conditions will never align completely. Resources will never feel abundant enough. Waiting for ideal circumstances is surrender disguised as strategy. Start where you are. Use what you have. Improve along the way. Decisive action transforms identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who plans and start seeing yourself as someone who executes. That shift changes everything. Confidence rises. Opportunities expand. Respect increases. Not because you are flawless, but because you are fearless in movement. Life responds to speed and certainty. When you hesitate, it hesitates with you. When you advance boldly, doors begin to open. Some will close. That is part of the process. Closed doors redirect. They do not defeat. Choose quickly. Act boldly. Refine continuously. Let movement replace doubt. Let execution replace fear. Build the habit of decisive action until hesitation feels unnatural and progress becomes inevitable through your relentless willingness to move without waiting for permission or perfect conditions. Pressure reveals who you really are. When everything is easy, anyone can appear confident. When results are immediate, anyone can seem committed. But when obstacles rise, when delays stretch longer than expected, when fatigue sets in and doubt grows louder, that is when your true character is exposed. Persistence under pressure is the dividing line between those who dream and those who dominate. Pressure is not a punishment. It is a test of structure. If your foundation is weak, pressure cracks it. If your foundation is strong, pressure strengthens it. Steel is forged in heat, not comfort. Greatness is refined through resistance, not convenience. The individual who understands this stops fearing difficulty and starts using it as a tool for growth. Most people quit not because they lack ability, but because they lack endurance. They expect progress to be smooth. They expect effort to produce instant reward. When reality contradicts expectation, motivation fades. The persistent individual operates differently. He expects challenge. He anticipates delay. He prepares mentally for resistance before it arrives. When pressure increases, emotions intensify, frustration surfaces, impatience grows, comparison becomes tempting. This is where many break. Persistence requires emotional discipline. It requires the ability to separate temporary discomfort from permanent defeat. A setback is not a signal to stop. It is feedback demanding adjustment. The mind under pressure searches for relief. It looks for excuses. It magnifies obstacles. If you are not vigilant, your thoughts will exaggerate the difficulty of the moment. Persistence means controlling that narrative. It means reminding yourself of your purpose when your feelings fluctuate. It means anchoring to commitment instead of convenience. There will be moments when progress is invisible. You work, you sacrifice, you endure, yet results seem distant. This is where average ambition collapses. The persistent individual understands that growth often occurs beneath the surface before it becomes visible. Roots grow before trees rise. Strength builds internally before it manifests externally. Pressure also tests belief. Do you truly believe in your objective, or were you only interested in the applause that might come with it? When recognition disappears and struggle intensifies, only conviction remains. Persistence is sustained by belief that the outcome is worth the effort. Without belief, endurance fades quickly. Obstacles are inevitable. Financial strain, criticism, rejection, fatigue, unexpected failure. These are not signs you chose the wrong path. They are signs you are moving beyond your comfort zone. Growth invites resistance. The more significant the goal, the stronger the opposition. Expect it, prepare for it, persist through it. Persistence does not mean blind repetition. It means intelligent endurance. When a strategy fails, analyze it, refine it, adapt it. Continue forward with improved precision. Stubbornness resists change. Persistence embraces learning while refusing to quit. The objective remains fixed even if the method evolves. Resilience strengthens each time you refuse to retreat. Every challenge survived increases confidence. Every obstacle overcome builds internal authority. You begin to trust your ability to withstand discomfort. That trust becomes a weapon. It makes future pressure less intimidating because you have proof of endurance. Isolation may accompany persistence. Not everyone will understand your commitment. Some will question your dedication. Others will project their own fear onto your ambition. Stay focused. External doubt cannot defeat internal certainty unless you allow it. Protect your vision from unnecessary noise. Discipline fuels persistence. When motivation fades, structure sustains progress. Routines carry you when inspiration disappears. Habits eliminate negotiation. You act because it is scheduled, not because you feel inspired. This mechanical consistency builds momentum even during emotional lows. There will be moments when quitting seems logical, when the cost appears too high, when exhaustion clouds perspective. In those moments, pause but do not retreat. Rest strategically, recover intentionally, then resume. Persistence is not reckless self-destruction, it is controlled endurance. Pressure clarifies priorities. Under strain, distractions lose appeal. Comfort becomes less attractive than achievement. The persistent individual uses pressure as a focusing mechanism. He channels frustration into productivity. He converts doubt into preparation. He transforms obstacles into stepping stones. Time rewards persistence. Many abandon their pursuit just before momentum shifts. They leave the field when victory is closer than they realize. Endurance often requires pushing beyond visible progress. Breakthroughs are frequently preceded by extended struggle. Strength is cumulative. Each day you persist adds weight to your character. Each refusal to quit strengthens your resolve. Over time, what once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. What once seemed impossible becomes routine. Pressure will always exist at higher levels. Success does not eliminate it, it intensifies it. If you cannot endure small challenges, greater responsibility will crush you. Persistence prepares you for expansion. It conditions your mind for larger arenas. Stand firm when tested. Maintain direction when delayed. Continue refining when resisted. Let pressure sharpen you instead of shatter you. Let adversity train you instead of terrifying you. Build endurance so deep that quitting becomes foreign to your identity and persistence becomes the defining force that drives your continuous rise through every obstacle and every storm. Play it safe and you guarantee an average life. Take reckless risks and you guarantee collapse. Calculated risk-taking is the discipline that separates visionaries from gamblers. It is boldness guided by intelligence. It is courage strengthened by preparation. It is the willingness to move into uncertainty with strategy instead of impulse. Every significant advancement requires risk. No empire was built without stepping into the unknown. No breakthrough was achieved without confronting uncertainty. Comfort preserves survival, but risk creates expansion. The question is not whether you will face risk. The question is whether you will approach it carelessly or strategically calculated. Risk begins with clarity of purpose. If you do not know what you are pursuing, every risk becomes random. When your objective is precise, risk becomes directional. You evaluate opportunities based on alignment, not emotion. You measure potential reward against potential loss with a calm, analytical mind. Emotion is the enemy of intelligent risk. Excitement can distort judgment. Fear can exaggerate danger. Both must be managed. A strategist pauses before committing. He gathers information. He studies patterns. He analyzes timing. He does not rush because of pressure nor retreat because of discomfort. He weighs variables carefully and then moves decisively. Preparation reduces unnecessary danger. Skill development, financial planning, contingency strategies, these are not signs of fear. They are signs of wisdom. The more prepared you are, the more confident you become. Confidence built on preparation is stable. Confidence built on hype collapses quickly. Risk always involves uncertainty, but uncertainty does not mean chaos. You can calculate probabilities. You can assess trends. You can identify worst-case scenarios and determine whether you can survive them. Intelligent risk-takers ask themselves one powerful question: if this fails, can I recover? If the answer is yes, the risk becomes manageable. Growth rarely occurs inside certainty. Promotions require responsibility beyond comfort. Entrepreneurship requires investment without guaranteed return. Personal transformation requires leaving familiar habits behind. These are risks. Avoiding them may feel safe in the short term, but stagnation carries its own hidden cost. Playing safe often appears rational. Stable income, predictable routine, minimal exposure. But over time, safety can become confinement. Opportunity passes, potential fades, regret accumulates, calculated risk-taking challenges that slow decay. It injects energy into ambition. Courage is required, but courage without calculation becomes recklessness. Study before stepping forward. Understand the industry, know the numbers, strengthen your skill set, build relationships. The stronger your foundation, the bolder your move can be. Preparation expands your risk capacity. Timing also matters. The same opportunity can be brilliant at one moment and disastrous at another. Market conditions, personal readiness, resource availability, all influence timing. Patience can be strategic when it serves preparation. Delay becomes weakness when it serves fear. Surround yourself with individuals who understand intelligent risk. Advisors, mentors, experienced professionals. Learn from their mistakes. Study their decisions. Borrow wisdom before committing your own resources. Calculated risk does not isolate itself in ego. It seeks informed perspective. Failure is a possibility, not a certainty. Intelligent risk-takers accept this reality. They do not expect perfection, they expect growth. If failure occurs, they analyze it without emotional collapse. They extract lessons, they refine strategy, they RN stronger. Risk becomes education rather than defeat. Security is not the absence of risk. True security is adaptability. The more adaptable you become, the less intimidating risk appears. Skills can be transferred. Knowledge can be reapplied. Networks can be rebuilt. Adaptability transforms potential loss into temporary setback. Financial discipline strengthens risk tolerance. Emergency savings, diversified income streams, controlled expenses, these create breathing room. When basic stability is secured, you can take larger calculated steps without desperation influencing decisions. Opportunity rarely announces itself with certainty. It often arrives disguised as discomfort, a challenging offer, a relocation, a new venture. These moments test your willingness to expand. If you hesitate excessively, someone else will act. Opportunity favors the prepared and the decisive. Confidence grows with each intelligent risk taken. Each successful leap reinforces belief. Even calculated failures build resilience. You begin to see uncertainty as terrain to navigate, rather than a threat to avoid. Avoid comparing your risks to others blindly. Every individual has different resources, responsibilities, and tolerances. What is bold for one may be reckless for another. Self-awareness is critical. Know your capacity. Know your limits. Stretch them gradually with intention. Calculated risk-taking transforms identity. You stop seeing yourself as fragile. You begin to see yourself as capable of navigating complexity. Fear loses its dominance because preparation strengthens belief. Progress requires stepping beyond the predictable. Advancement demands exposure to uncertainty. Calculate carefully, prepare thoroughly, move boldly. Let intelligence guide courage. Let strategy shape ambition. Build the strength to evaluate, decide, and act even when outcomes are not guaranteed. And let each calculated move expand your influence, your capability, and your command over your evolving path. Control your day, or your day will control you. The battle for your future is won or lost in the first hours of the morning. Before the world makes demands, before messages flood your mind, before distractions pull at your focus, you either take command or you surrender. Daily self-command is not dramatic. It is not loud. It is quiet authority over your own behavior. Most people live reactively. They wake up and immediately respond to notifications, opinions, and external pressures. Their mood depends on circumstances. Their productivity depends on motivation. Their discipline depends on how they feel. That is weakness. Self-command means you decide your actions in advance and execute them regardless of emotional weather. Your habits reveal your level of command. Do you rise when the alarm sounds, or do you negotiate with comfort? Do you begin with intention, or drift into distraction? These small moments appear insignificant, but they compound. Each act of discipline strengthens identity. Each act of indulgence weakens it. Self-command begins with structure. A defined morning routine removes unnecessary decisions. When actions are pre-planned, hesitation disappears. You do not waste energy debating whether to train, read, build, or prepare. You simply execute. Structure eliminates chaos. Chaos erodes focus. Emotions fluctuate daily. Energy rises and falls. Circumstances shift unexpectedly. If your productivity depends on perfect conditions, you will remain inconsistent. Daily self-command requires action independent of mood. You work when you feel inspired. You work when you feel tired. You maintain standards when it is convenient and when it is uncomfortable. Consistency is built through repetition, not intensity. One extraordinary day cannot compensate for 5 undisciplined ones. Small disciplined actions repeated daily build momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence strengthens discipline. This cycle reinforces itself when you refuse to break it. Distraction is the enemy of self-command. The modern world competes aggressively for your attention. Social media, entertainment, constant updates, they fragment focus. A strategist protects attention like a valuable asset. He allocates it intentionally. He decides when to engage and when to disconnect. He does not allow external noise to dictate internal priorities. Your physical state influences your mental command. Sleep, nutrition, exercise, these are not optional luxuries. They are foundational. A fatigued body weakens willpower. A neglected mind loses sharpness. Self-command includes maintaining the vessel through which you execute your purpose. Time management reflects self-respect. If you waste hours carelessly, you communicate to yourself that your goals are negotiable. When you schedule your day with clarity, you signal seriousness. Appointments with your ambitions become non-negotiable commitments. Boundaries strengthen discipline. Saying no protects focus. Accepting every request dilutes energy. Not every opportunity deserves your attention. Not every invitation aligns with your objective. Self-command requires selective engagement. Accountability accelerates growth. Track your habits, measure progress. Evaluate performance weekly. Without measurement, discipline becomes vague. With data, improvement becomes targeted. You identify weaknesses and correct them systematically. Daily reflection sharpens awareness. At the end of each day, assess execution. Did you honor your commitments? Did distractions win? Where did emotion override discipline? Honest review transforms mistakes into lessons. Without reflection, errors repeat silently. Environment design is strategic. Organize your workspace. Remove temptations. Prepare materials in advance. Reduce friction between intention and action. The easier it is to execute productive habits, the less willpower you consume. Language influences behavior. Speak decisively to yourself. Replace "I will try" with "I will execute." Replace "maybe later" with scheduled action. Words shape perception. Perception shapes behavior. Self-command also includes emotional regulation. Frustration, boredom, and impatience will appear. Do not let them dictate pace. Stay steady. Progress does not require drama. It requires persistence. There will be days when discipline feels heavy, when motivation disappears, when distractions seem irresistible. These days matter most. Execute anyway. That single decision reinforces identity more than effortless days ever could. Celebrate discipline quietly, not with arrogance, but with acknowledgement. Recognize growth, notice improvements. Confidence grows when effort is recognized internally. Self-command is freedom. When you control your actions, you reduce regret. When you maintain standards, you increase self-trust. When self-trust strengthens, ambition expands. The world respects those who respect their own time and commitments. Reliability builds reputation. Consistency builds influence. Both are products of daily discipline. You do not need extreme transformation overnight. You need controlled, repeatable execution. One focused morning, one productive afternoon, one disciplined evening. Repeated relentlessly. Take command before distractions arise. Set the tone before emotions interfere. Execute before doubt appears. Let structure replace chaos. Let discipline override impulse. Let daily self-command become so ingrained in your identity that hesitation fades, distractions weaken, and your progress becomes the predictable outcome of your unwavering control over every ordinary day that shapes your extraordinary future. See beyond what is. That is the beginning of transformation. If you only evaluate your life based on current circumstances, you imprison your potential inside temporary conditions. Vision beyond circumstances is the ability to look at limitation without accepting it as permanent. It is the discipline of perceiving possibility which others see restriction. Your environment may be modest, your resources may be limited, your past may be filled with mistakes. None of these define your ceiling unless you allow them to. Circumstances describe your present position, not your ultimate capacity. The danger is not in starting small. The danger is in thinking small because you started small. Most people allow their surroundings to shape their identity. If they are born into struggle, they adopt a struggling mindset. If they experience failure, they internalize defeat. Visionary thinking rejects this pattern. It separates condition from identity. It understands that today's reality is a snapshot, not a prophecy. Vision is not fantasy. It is a calculated mental projection of a higher state of being. It requires clarity, not delusion. You must define what expansion looks like for you. Financial independence, leadership, mastery of a craft, influence, whatever it is, see it clearly. The more detailed your internal image, the stronger its pull on your behavior. Circumstances often test belief, bills arrive, opportunities delay, criticism surfaces. These pressures attempt to narrow your focus to immediate discomfort. Vision widens your perspective. It reminds you that current struggle is part of a larger trajectory. When you operate from long-term sight, short-term difficulty loses its emotional dominance. Every achievement begins twice, first in the mind, then in reality. If you cannot conceive a greater version of yourself internally, you will never construct it externally. Vision organizes effort. It directs energy. It filters decisions. Without it, you drift between tasks without coherence. Your language reveals the size of your vision. Do you speak from limitation or expansion? Do you describe yourself as trapped or in transition? Words reinforce perception. Perception influences action. Action determines results. Adjust the vision and behavior begins to align. Vision beyond circumstances demands courage. It requires you to believe in outcomes not yet visible. Others may question your ambition. They may measure your future by your current status.